Good afternoon, everyone. This is gonna be our general mathematics tutorial video for
Lesson 23, Illustrating Simple and Compound Interest. So the objectives are to illustrate simple and compound interest and
distinguish between simple and compound interest.
definition of terms. Lender or creditor person who invests money or makes the funds available.
Borrower or debtor person who owes the money or avails of the funds from the lender.
Origin or loan date. Date on which money is received by the borrower.
Repayment date or maturity date. Date on which the money borrowed or loan is to be completely repaid.
Time or term. Amount of time in years the money is borrowed or invested, or the length of time between the origin and maturity dates.
Principal. Amount of money borrowed or invested on the origin date.
Rate. Annual rate, usually in percent, charged by the lender or the rate of increase of the investment.
Interest. Amount paid or earned for the use of money.
Simple interest, the interest that is computed on the principal and then added to it.
Compound interest. Interest is computed on the principal and also on the accumulated past interest.
Maturity value or future value. Amount after the years that the lender receives from the borrower from the maturity date.
So we're going to talk about the formula of simple interest and compound interest. Since simple interest, we're only just gonna multiply principal, rate, and time.
So the compound interest is equal to P times 1 plus R over N to the power of NT, which is P stands for the principal, R stands for the interest rate, N stands for the number of compounding periods, T stands for the number of time periods.
So I'm going to give you guys an example on uh, how to compute the simple interest. So suppose you won 10,000 pesos and you plan to invest it for 5 years. A cooperative group offers 2% compounded annually. That's our rate. Which will you choose and why? So we're going to make our table. So to make our table, we're going to make time, principal, rate, solution, answer, and maturity value. How to find the principal? It's 10,000. You can see it in the example. Now, what's our rate? Percent, as I said earlier. How do we find the solution? How do we put it there? So basically, you're just gonna use the formula and and get the stuff from the formula. There you go. And first of all, you're going to uh, convert the rate into decimal. See what I did here? It's 2% and now it's 0.02. You're going to multiply the principal 10,000, the rate 0.02, and the time, which is 1. So this is going to be the answer, 200, and amount after time years, maturity value. There you go. You're going to plus the 200, which is the answer without principal. And we're going to answer the rest. There you go. I'm going to. So that's kinda it for the example. Okay, my friend here, Brian, is going to demonstrate the example. I mean, explain the example too, which is the compound interest.
So it's like the same one but different scenario. Suppose you want 10,000 pesos and you plan to invest it for 5 years. Cooperative group offers 2% compounded annually. Which will you choose and why? So if you choose compounded annually, here's how you can uh, compute the maturity value. So the first is like simple interest. We firstly convert the 2% rate into a decimal. So meron mo siyang 0.02, and then you will multiply it using the formula, the compound interest formula. So this is now the solution. 10,000 times 2, 0.02 times 1 is equal to, so the answer is 200. Then 200 will be added to the 10,000. 10,000 plus 200 is equal to 10,200. Then 10,200 will be the new principal for the second year. And then the cycle continues, and 10,200 will be multiplied by the rate 2% and the time 2, because it is in the second year. So the solution will be 10,200 times 2% times 2 is equal to 204. And 204 will be added to 10,200, and the answer will be 10,404. Then 10,404 will become rather the new principal for the third year, and then the cycle continues, and it is then multiplied to 2 again, 2% again, and then the solution will be this: 10,404 times 2% times 3, because it's in the third year now, is equal to 208.8, and then it will be added to 10,404, or the previous principal. Then the answer will be 10,612.8. Then the 10,612.8 will become the new principal in the fourth year. So in the fourth year, it will be again, as the cycle continues, for the fourth time, it will be also multiplied by 2% and the fourth time. So 10,612.8 times 2% times 4 is equal to 212.24. So 212.84 will be added to 10,612.8. Then the answer will be 10,824.32. Then 10,824.32 will become the new principal in the fifth year. So in the fifth year, it will be 10,824.32. And again, it will be multiplied by 2% and the fifth year. So, or 5 times. So the solution will become 10,824.32 times 2% times 5 is equal to 216.49. Then 216.49 is added to the previous principal, which is the 10,824.32, and the answer, which is the 216.49, which will come up to 11,040.81, and the and this is the maturity value after 3 years.
Okay, so we're going to compare simple interest and compound interest. You can clearly see the difference. What would you choose?
So, in the question is, which will you choose and why? So, for me, I will choose compound interest because compound interest has a higher maturity value than the simple interest. And in the compound interest, so here's our explanation. Simple interest remains constant throughout the investment term. In compound interest, the previous year also earns interest. Thus, the interest grows every year. Thank you
So
for listening, and that's all, and I hope you learned something.
that's going to be our general mathematics tutorial video, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something from that.